Now, President Joe Biden has taken himself out of the race for the White House come November.
The president made the announcement less than 24 hours ago that he will no longer seek re-election. It comes after weeks of mounting pressure from Democrats. While isolating with COVID-19, President Biden posted a letter on social media late yesterday morning saying it's in the best interest of his party and the country that he stand down and focus on fulfilling his duties as president for the remainder of his term. Biden also put his support behind his running mate, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the Democratic nominee. Harris responded saying she's honored to have the president's endorsement.
I support Vice President Harris. I am very hopeful that we will come out of our convention next month united.
Former president and Republican nominee Donald Trump also reacted to Biden's move, saying on Truth Social that Biden was not fit to run for president. Biden says he will address the nation regarding his decision sometime this week. Meanwhile, the Democratic Convention Rules Committee is set to meet Wednesday to discuss the next steps in the nomination process. Valley Democrats and Republicans are reacting to Biden's announcement.
Action News reporter Amanda Aguilar has been busy all morning long. She joins us now at the live desk with what they're saying about the president's exit from the race. Amanda, good morning.
Jason, Jessica, good morning. Democrats are moving forward, focused on how their party will nominate a new ticket. Meanwhile, Valley Republicans are raising questions about Biden's ability to remain in the presidency for 6 more months. Biden's late decision to drop out is historic. This follows weeks of pressure by high-level donors and Democratic legislators. Now, at first, the president resisted the calls to quit. However, Fresno State's political science professor Thomas Holyoke says the criticism boiled over. Valley conservatives are welcoming the news, even calling on Biden to resign early from office. Republican Representative John Duarte had harsh words for the president in a phone interview with Action News.
Well, objectively, a lame duck is a president who can't be reelected to be president again. So, yeah, I mean, by all definitions of lame duck, President Biden is now a lame duck.
Fresno's Democratic Representative Jim Costa was one of several Democrats who called on Biden to drop out. He released a statement Sunday saying in part, quote, President Biden acted yet again as our nation's leader when he made one of the bravest and most difficult decisions of his career. In the days ahead, the Democratic Party will come together in a united front. Now, this political back and forth comes as Democrats are up against the clock to unify and nominate a new ticket. Democrats, including 500 delegates from California, will head to Chicago for the party's convention next month, where they will formally nominate their candidate for president. Jessica, back to you.
Amanda, thank you. Governor Gavin Newsom also released a statement last night praising Joe Biden for stepping aside, saying he will go down in history as one of the most impactful and selfless presidents. The governor seemed to end speculation that he might run for president by endorsing his former California colleague, Vice President Harris, saying in part, quote, tough, fearless, tenacious. With our democracy at stake and our future on the line, no one is better to prosecute the case against Donald Trump's dark vision and guide our country in a healthier direction than America's Vice President Kamala Harris.
Meantime, Bakersfield Republican Congressman Vince Vaughn released a statement on President Biden suspending his campaign. It reads in part, quote, instead of recognizing that President Biden was unfit for office before the primary, Democrats will now sort out their ticket in an unprecedented way by ignoring the votes of 14 million Americans, end quote. Fong went on to show his support for former President Donald Trump and his vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance. Now, with President Joe Biden's announcement, he joins a rare group of sitting presidents who chose not to seek re-election. 56 years ago, President Lyndon B. Johnson announced he would not run for a second term amid the increasingly unpopular war in Vietnam and growing national unrest. In 1952, despite leading the country through the end of World War II, Harry Truman also opted not to seek re-election. Presidents Teddy Roosevelt and Calvin Coolidge also decided not to run for another term.
Vice President Kamala Harris's decision to seek the nomination for president once again puts California in the spotlight. The 59-year-old was born in Oakland. Before becoming vice president, she served as California's attorney general and as a U.S. senator. Harris has also made trips to the Central Valley. One of her last visits was in September 2020 when she came to Fresno to campaign on Joe Biden's presidential ticket. She also spent time with Governor Gavin Newsom at Pine Ridge Elementary School in Auberry, touring the devastation of the Creek Fire, and then later later toured a Red Cross evacuation center at Clovis North High School, talking about climate change and extreme weather conditions. Several top Democrats have already endorsed Harris in issuing statements of support and thanking President Biden for his decision to step down. Act Blue, the small dollar donor fundraising platform for the Biden-Harris campaign, says supporters have raised close to $50 million following Harris's campaign launch.
And stay with Action News for continuing coverage on President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the presidential race. Get up to the minute updates at abc30.com and the ABC 30 Central California app.